What's up, guys? It's your boy T. Today we're going to be talking about Rubi Rose. Now, if you don't know who Rubi Rose is, she's an Onlyfans model and she's also a rapper, quote unquote. You would have never thought she was a rapper. She be doing a whole bunch of thirst trap pics on Twitter. You would have never thought she was a rapper. However, with that being said, Rubi Rose has been having Onlyfans since 2020. When she first started her Onlyfans, she got $40,000 in the first day. And on the second day, she made about $100,000 in 48 hours. So it was pretty incredible and pretty remarkable that she made that amount of money. So hey, get your money at the end of the day. I ain't got no problems with people having OnlyFans. Get your money. But as time has passed, of course, I'm feeling that not a lot of people were subscribing to her OnlyFans. So there was this picture that she posted on Twitter. It has about 135 million impressions, right? And keep that in mind, 135 million impressions. And it was her with a picture of this dude. Now, this dude name, we're going to call him Brandon. That's what people thought his name was. People found out about this man in the picture, and she said that this was her biggest OnlyFans supporter, biggest spender. And they even had a picture of his phone saying he spent about $62,000 in 1 month on Rubi Rose. So after that information came out, people were kind of worried about, okay, I think this dude gonna kill her because he looked like a stalker. How you found Rubi Rose just randomly in this hotel in this picture, right? So a lot of people did some digging, and somebody came up with the fact that Brandon was in this old show on MTV, and his addiction was porn. Everybody think he's a porn addict. He watched porn 10 hours a day. He could not function without porn. That was his thing. And then eventually Rubi Rose, a couple of days later, posted a screen recording of text messages that Brandon, quote unquote, would send her, and it was pretty it was pretty bad. Now look, I'm not gonna read all this, but I'm just showing y'all, pause if you want to read everything. It's a lot of degeneracy in here, but also when you get to the end, you find out that he even has a tattoo of her face on his leg to show how meaningful Rubi Rose is to him. After that, a lot of people started to worry about Rubi Rose's safety, as I do understand, because if this situation was real, I'll be worried about somebody's health too. However, it is not real, and the information has came out. The man has finally made a response. He has been on the No Jumpers podcast, and he showed off that none of this stuff is real. It is all fabricated. And honestly, thinking back on it, I'm glad I did not make a video about this situation like everybody else, because I could not believe that this was real. There was no way somebody spends about $62,000 on 1 month on one OnlyFans model. I cannot comprehend that. There's no way you spend that amount of money, and then also on top of that, you spend another $30,000 just because you met her the other day. And then also offered Rubi Rose, if she would just text him back in the screen recording, that he would pay her about $400,000, which is 10 Bitcoin. He will pay her 10 Bitcoin if she'll just text him back. 10 Bitcoin, which equals $400K if she'll text him back. He's also quoted as saying he loves her more than Bitcoin, which is cringe. I don't know why her people was like, hey, write that down. Like, that made no sense. That's the cringe. Who says that, bruh? But anyway, we're gonna get into the reason of why we know this is fake. So he was on the No Jumper podcast, and he was talking to Adam 22. As y'all know who Adam 22 is, I don't think I gotta explain it to y'all. But he was explaining to Adam 22 that this is fake, and he explains how it all happened.
Nah, I didn't purchase none of her OnlyFans content.
Rubi Rose.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was all a hoax?
I got in the situation where I just went and took a picture with Rubi Rose, right? Like,
okay.
I got paid for it. I didn't know exactly what it was for. I think it was like a promo thing or something or whatever the fuck it was, And I met up with her. I take this picture. Next day, I'm like the fucking OnlyFans top spender. I knew there was like some kind of thing where there was like, had to do with the OnlyFans top spender shit, but I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So they made it look like I was her top spender, So
as you see, it was a big hoax. It was just a publicity stunt at the end of the day. And pretty much the whole scenario was a publicity stunt. This is all fake. It was just fabricated so people would look and talk about Rubi Rose. That's really all we wanted for. Now, it is true. Somebody did spend $62,000 on Rubi Rose. Just not him. But it could have just been her team, and she was just spending $62,000 on herself just to gain publicity from him. Yes, he was holding the phone, but that was not him who spent the money. They just changed the name and everything. So I assume her team just had a phone or made an account and put his name on it so it looked like it was him. He also states that this was the plan. Like, he did know they were going to make a story. It was supposed to be a big story, but he didn't know how far the story was going to go. And it kind of has ruined his reputation, especially in his personal life. He was stated to say that even his auntie actually believed that he was spending money on pornography from OnlyFans, which kind of sucks. The fact that it weeped into your personal life. And also the thing about the tattoo, it is real. He actually does have the tattoo on his leg. It was his plan. He told the company that, hey, you know, I would do this, and then the company asked him, hey, how much do you want to get paid?
What, like taken advantage of?
I mean, once I realized how much money she was making off of this, and I was like, okay, like I when I got the tattoo, they asked me how much I wanted for, like, her people, her team or whatever asked me, what do I think's a good price for the tattoo? Now I was like saying 15 to 20K, you know? I feel like I knew it was going to happen with this. I knew it was going to like go out of proportion, and maybe it would make me look like I thought about it. Maybe it was going to make me look like a creep and shit. And but I mean, I have the most random tattoos on my body that I was like, okay, I could do this and I could still pull it off.
Right.
At the same time, I'm like getting all this like hate and shit. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of getting weird. I was like, what's the next thing that's going to happen? And then I did say we should like get some kind of tattoo going, you know, like I'll get her name or something tattooed on me. I didn't think I was going to get a portrait.
Where's the portrait?
On the back of my leg.
I do understand, as an OnlyFans model or anybody in the fame, you want to keep your name out there. You want to keep attention on yourself. So you might do stunts like that. But you never hear about the other side, the person who has to also suffer from this stunt. Now, I'm assuming the only person that really won, the only person taking a W really is Rubi Rose. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people have subscribed to her. And a lot of people have been talking about her. So it's just being in everybody's mouth, everybody's ears, everybody's eyesight. It is everywhere. So I know she has probably got a huge bump in subscriptions. Now, what I will say, this is on him. He chose to go with the plan, so whatever happens after is on him technically, but it does change his life. Not a lot of people are going to want to hire the guy that is supposedly Brandon, who is also has a porn addiction, who takes 10 hours a day to watch porn and nothing but porn and don't look for a job. That is bad. That's a bad look for him at the end of the day. So not a lot of people are willing to want to hire him or even be friends with him or really work with him unless you really know him. So it's going to be a little bit hard on him. And also, the thing is, even though this information came out and he spoke his truth, that doesn't necessarily change anything, because people already got their observations about him. People already believe what they believe about him. So remember, it had 135 million impressions, 135 million views off of Rubi Rose page. So that means 135 million people have seen this, but not even counting people on different platforms. But guess what? That doesn't mean 135 million people are going to see this video where he proves his innocence, quote unquote. That don't mean not everybody's going to see that. People have their belief. They're not going to look into it. So at the end of the day, he will forever be the creepy OnlyFans stalk at the end of the day. And hey, it is on him, but it do kind of suck at the same time. You can't really come back from this at the end of the day. So now that we're done talking about all this, I'm going to let one of my friends hop on and he going to talk about the situation too.
So as he was explaining, people are going to believe that this whole situation, despite it being a lie, maybe, in quotes, maybe being a lie, you know, people are going to believe it anyway. And the dude's going to have a hard time explaining it anyway. Rubi Rose's team had to do so much effort and put in so much work to find someone that looked exactly like the dude from the porn addiction episode thing. Because, like, that is like no coincidence that they chose him. So I don't know. I'm that's purely speculation. But what I want to talk about is OnlyFans addiction, because I have a friend that suffers from OnlyFans addiction. He spent like $1,000 total on like multiple different people. It wasn't just one person like with the Rubi Rose situation. But I want to talk about that friend, tell his story and the things that he went through. I personally watched his decline and his rise and where it all went. I guess leaning into the topic of how the internet reacted to this whole Rubi Rose situation before we found out the truth. After he came out as an OnlyFans spender, a lot of people on the internet started dogging him, started calling him all kinds of stuff and just ridiculing him for being an OnlyFans spender and spending that much money. Granted, yeah, that dude should not spend that much money at all. He spent way too much money. He spent way too much. What that did to him anyway, was that dude went back to smoking weed, he just was really distraught and hurt by the whole situation. His aunt even got involved and was asking about his well-being. I was like, hey, like, are you actually doing all this type of stuff and whatnot? And so he really truly understood that when people get outed for having an OnlyFans subscription, they get ridiculed by the internet hard. And what that can potentially lead to is just more using OnlyFans and going on OnlyFans and seeing these models and stuff that they sweet talk the user and try to get on their good side and whatnot. So like I said, I had my friend, he was like a big OnlyFans spender. I guess not like too big, but he did spend upwards to almost $1,000 in total. He suffered from depression. He suffered from a low self-esteem, and he was just having a hard time in general with life. And he wasn't like a super like sad person. Like, he wasn't going into places just being like, oh, my life is bad, everything sucks, nobody loves me. Like, he wasn't doing that. He still was like a pretty nice person in general. It's just that when it came to his own self-worth, he just really didn't value it. And so whenever he was getting complimented and stuff on OnlyFans and things like that, like, he latched on to that, and he wanted to reciprocate that feeling by giving these girls money and being like, hey, I mean, if I want to have you keep talking to me in such a nice way, I gotta keep giving you money. And I was like, I got money to spend. So he kept doing it. Well, I do not agree with him spending the money on OnlyFans in the first place. I also don't have anything towards OnlyFans creators that make money. You're making money and you're doing your own thing. The only time that I have a severe issue with OnlyFans creators is when they are manipulating their subscribers by sweet talking them. They're using that mental manipulation, and a lot of times the guys that are subscribing to them usually do not have a lot of strong mental state. They're not thinking clearly in their head, and they could be thinking, oh, I want to keep hearing you talk to me and this and that and so forth and so on. Because that's what happened with my buddy. Like, he latched on to that, sweet talking him and just being real generally nice to him. It's not like he didn't have people like that in his life to begin with. It just, for him, for some reason, he just felt connected to that. It's with it being the opposite sex, I guess, and he latched on to that. I don't have an issue with OnlyFans creators that just make their money, but I do have an issue with OnlyFans creators that manipulate their clientele and be like, if you love me, you buy this, and if you love me, you buy that type of shit. And I'm just like, you don't actually love this girl. You are lusting for this girl. But like, maybe you just don't in your head are comprehending that, and you don't really fully realize. He was telling me like, hey, like, I mean, it's just something like whenever you hear it from them or you see it from them, it just feels different than having other people say it. He always talked about wanting to get a girlfriend and stuff like that, but never could get one. I'm thinking that that's probably what led into it, is him like not having that significant other, and he wanted that significant other, so he sought that significant other through OnlyFans. And when he was getting all these texts and stuff from girls being like this and that, led himself into thinking that this was something real. But like, it's not anything. They're just using you for your money. Most I would say are just using you for your money and are using you just as a means to an end. It's just not good for you. The only way to really get out of that is by having a better self-esteem, by going out, actually doing things, actually meeting friends and meeting new people out in the real world. I know that can be hard, because it was hard for him. I took this dude out several times, and he was still like very antisocial and didn't really want to do much. But I think having that strong and supportive group with you, people who are willing to stick by you and be there with you to help you out, is what's so important in trying to overcome it. As you've seen, when you talk about it on the internet, or if it is exposed that you did do this on the internet, people will ridicule you, and they will get on you aggressively online, because people online, they have no filter, and like your life, what you're doing, if you're spending all this OnlyFans money, it doesn't affect them. They're just gonna point at you and laugh. So having that support system, not to kind of ease it, but to kind of help you get through it, instead of you going further deep into depression, you actually like talk to your support group if they actually care, and being like, hey, I know you got this addiction thing going on, but I'm gonna try to at least help you get through it at least a little bit, so you don't have to be doing all this, because it's not real, dog. It's not real. You need to move on from that. If you actually want to get a girlfriend, you need to improve yourself, whether it be going to the gym, eating healthy, but anyway, like doing that, like actually going out and doing stuff that you want to do, or at least doing stuff that will improve your mental health. So that's really where all this is tying into, is like people that have this OnlyFans addiction, they really just need good supportive people in their lives and in their corner to help them get out of the rut, because a lot of times they probably can't do it themselves. Like for my friend, like he was having a hard time. I took this dude out several times. He has told me that he has not been on OnlyFans for roughly a month now and has not thought about it since. Only reason I even brought this up is because I knew my boy T was doing a video on this, and I was like, I don't think many people really truly understand how bad OnlyFans addiction is, or not even that, or how it can happen. Because it happens from low self-esteem, but then how do you break away from it? A lot of people just don't know. And I think me sharing his story to y'all will at least help people understand, like, in order for someone to actually break away from it, you need to be there to support them if they are your friend. And if you, the viewer, are one of the people who have an OnlyFans addiction, and you have thought about trying to get out of it or break away from it, find your support group. Find your support group. Talk to people that actually love and care about you. And if you say you don't got nobody, that's a lie. Everybody has somebody. And if you truly believe that you have no one, number one, why are you watching this video? And number two, I believe in you. I may not know you personally. I'm talking to you. Like, find your support group, and just know that if you feel like you can't do it, at least know that I'm in your corner. And while I can't do anything physically to help you, just know that there are people out there that believe that you can overcome this. So, with all that being said, again, just having that strong mental support system, having those strong friend groups, and just getting away from it. And the thing is too, even after you get all that, even after you take care of all that, you don't have OnlyFans anymore, everything, porn is still going to be there, because that's just the world we live in now. We live in an era where you go on Twitter and one of the first things you might see is porn. You go on Twitch and they have a new thing called artistic nudity now. Like you can't go anywhere on the internet and not see porn. So you really can't just quit porn cold turkey. Because it's always gonna be there. But if you continue to work on your mental strength and your self-esteem, and you continue to have your friend groups, you will eventually get through it. I believe in that. But that's all I have to say on this matter. I've been talking for a bit too long already, so I'm gonna pass this off over to my boy T. So T, take it away.
So now that you're done hearing that Martin Luther King speech from Cameron, we're just gonna cut it off here. Like the video, like, comment, subscribe. If you like what Cameron was saying and you want to look at his stuff or anything, he's a photographer. He also a video editor. He does a lot of things. So if you want to look at him, I'll post his Instagram right here so you can look at it and everything like that. But yeah, that's about it, honestly. Yeah, OnlyFans, I mean, get your money if you want to. I don't care. But it does have its bad parts sometimes. But that's anything anyway. But anyway, that's about it. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, bye. By the way, he ain't talking about me before you get some ideas.